Hello everyone, it's great to see your smiling faces. My name's Victor Persad. I'm a real estate broker here in Cape Coral, Florida. And in today's video, we're talking about all things probate. So roll the intro. Full disclosure, this is an educational video, and anything concerning probate should be discussed with an attorney or similar professionals. In easiest to understand terms, probate is simply the legal procedure your estate goes through after you pass away. A court will start the process of distributing your estate to the proper heirs. Probate is always easier if you have a will and/or a living trust that clearly defines your wishes. These documents help most by naming your beneficiaries and executor. An executor is a person who is charged with overseeing your final wishes. Creating a will or a living trust makes a difficult life event just a little easier on your loved one. It's important to understand that your will still must go through probate, but it's much simpler when you have planned ahead. During probate, a court will first authenticate your will and then authorize your executor to pay all debts and taxes and distribute the remaining property accordingly per the instructions you leave. Now that we have a working knowledge of how probate works, time to ask what has to go through probate. Any inheritance where the beneficiary predeceases the giver, this would look like your son or daughter whom passed away and the trust was not updated, then the courts will decide who will inherit that portion of your estate. Non-title property, this would look like clothing, jewelry, furniture, and appliances. Partner-owned investments in cases where properties are titled as tenants in common and where clear instructions are present in a will, a probate court will step in to help determine how your share is passed down. Keep in mind, having a will makes your wishes clearly known. The process becomes simplified. Sole ownership of a property is property that is solely titled in your name will go through the probate process and the courts will decide whom the proper heir would be. Now let's discuss what does not have to go through probate. Items that have a beneficiary named, items placed inside a living trust, a POD or TOD. POD mean payable on death, TOD mean transfer on death. These two acronyms will pass through probate court altogether. Something that is commonly used for this is called a ladybird deed. If the only property you own is your own home, there are pros and cons to this and will need to be discussed with an attorney. Have the will validated, select someone to conduct probate, post a bond, inform the beneficiaries and creditors, determine the value of assets, property, pay all fees and debts of the deceased, distribute the remaining assets. Now let's go over some of the most common questions. How long does probate take? Generally it takes between 6 to 9 months. How much does probate cost? About 5% of the estate's value. What to bring your first probate hearing? Letters or authority, letters of testamentary, letters of administration. What is probate real estate? If you do not have a will and you own property at the time of your passing, the court will control the bidding and sale of your home. There's been plenty of times where the deceased loved ones have to go through this process without any type of direction. The best advice I have for you is to have some type of will in place and validated to make this process easier. The court system has no place in dealing with the assets of your loved one. Here in Florida, it is not uncommon for a married couple where one spouse survives the other spouse and a couple years later get remarried and purchase property together. The issue here was that when that person expired, if they didn't have a will or trust in place, the heirs of the surviving spouse would inherit their assets. In recent years, this has changed so that same scenario, anyone can have tenancy in common, and that this is an arrangement in which two or more people have ownership interest in a property. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found some value in this video. If this video has been useful to you as a way of saying thank you, I would love if you would tap that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, own more real estate.